Welcome aboard this episode of Wild Goose Adventures. You know, southeast Queensland has some of the best riding in Queensland, and it's time we got out there and got amongst it. The ride started with a climb into the Hinterlands. There's several ways to get there, but my favourite is through Hunchy. Winding through farmland and terrace blocks, the tall trees appreciating the sea breeze and the coastal views. The steep road flattens out quickly as it passes under the timber bridge into Montville. Montville is famous for its timbercraft and artisan shops, a popular destination for Brisbane weekenders. I'm not stopping here though. My destination is at Mapleton at the end of the ridge, lined with houses admiring spectacular views of the coast. You know, in all my riding, most of it's been done by myself, and people don't like riding with me because when I go I like to stop, I like to take photos, I like to take video, I like to do a whole heap of things. In all of these journeys there's been one guy who I've loved riding with, and I'm coming here to meet him today, and I've got our little favourite hangouts at Mapleton. John Marc?
This is me, yes. And riding with David is a privilege.
Sometimes I wonder if we do more coffees than we do riding.
True.
But then we have been known to leave each other astray and go to some pretty cool places, haven't we?
Absolutely. And at the same time, we have resolved a lot of issues and expanded a bit our mind too.
That's
so
right.
It's not just, riding.
But it's more about the whole experience, isn't it?
It is. Truly it is.
Yeah. So having said that, we're going to go and keep on riding and see if we can find some more adventure. Mapleton, like all the towns perched up here, take advantage of the cooler air and relief from the humidity, which allows for abundant flower gardens with an array of colours and scents to fill the helmet with total pleasure. My friend John Marc came to Australia with fierce green values that found himself chained to trees fighting against the Franklin Dam project. His love of nature had him looking at sustainable landscape architecture for many years, and now, with more time on his hands, is involved with developing eco-friendly and viable living solutions in Sri Lanka. As well as that, modernising farming practices throughout Europe. He's a true gentleman, as well as a pioneer and staunch advocate for making the world a greener and better place. Riding is all the more pleasurable as we take our time soaking up this beautiful countryside and discussing life matters. Cruising out of Mapleton is perhaps our most challenging section of the ride, the Obi Obi Trail. Dirt roads can remind me of the snow. In the morning the snow is groomed and firm. You soak up the steady undulation and turn when it suits. As the day progresses, skiers carve out ruts and bumps into the softening layer of white stuff, which dictates the turn's timing and control. It is far less forgiving when missed. Looking down the dirt passage on which we're about to embark, it's obvious this track has not been groomed for quite some time. The narrow passage cut into the side of the mountain is full of ruts carved by cars and passers-by. These ruts are filled with sand and rubble, which then send bike tyres into a sliding free-for-all as they succumb to the mid-road berms. Negotiation is slow and steady, as it's a long way back from any mistake. Soon enough, we transcended into the lush valley and enjoyed a quaint ride into Kenilworth. Pleasant memories are conjured remembering my time teaching Cooper to ride in the motocross park here, eating at the bakery and ice creams at the local dairy. Such treasured memories from a long time ago. Speaking of a long time ago, our next stop is to overlook parts of Indigenous significance and the Sunshine Coast folklore, the Glasshouse Mountains. So we've been down the Obi, down to Kenilworth, through Conondale, and now to one of our favourite spots overlooking the Glasshouse Mountains at the Mary Cancross Drive. That was a nice ride, wasn't it?
Beautiful, beautiful.
Just brings us back. We haven't done this for too long, have we?
Months.
Months. And the road's still beautiful. It's still a nice winding road. And
we're going to have a beautiful meal now.
And now for a beautiful
Yes,
meal.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh.
nice. Sadly, it was time to part ways and follow the south-facing rim solo. Solo, like the famous wedding spot One Tree Hill, a wedding picture requirement up here. Nevertheless, the trip was pleasant, and it wasn't long before I'd made my way down back to the coast. Well, after a run down the mountain, finished off here at Caloundra. Just a beautiful day's riding. I want to thank John Marc for joining me and for his excellent company. So thank you for subscribing and hitting that like button if you found it interesting. There's going to be more coming up soon, but in the meantime, with Wild Goose Adventures, smooth sailing.